Refrain from using flash photography, and no food or drink are allowed in the auditorium during performances. Fire regulations strictly prohibit standing in the aisles during performances. And now we are pleased to bring you tonight's performance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
On behalf of the Atkinson Police Department and Atkinson Academy, I'd like to thank you all for attending tonight's graduation ceremony. I would like to thank you, the community, for your continued support of our police department. To the parents, family, and school staff, our sponsors, and most importantly to all of you, my students. I am truly humbled to stand before you tonight. Tonight we celebrate the fifth graders' success as well as the success of this great community. Atkinson is fortunate enough to have a DARE program, a program that some schools don't have. The DARE program is often overlooked as school schedules get crammed, funding is cut, and personnel are down. For those of you who don't know, DARE stands for Drug Abuse Resistance Education. It was developed in the early 1980s and was designed to integrate uniformed police officers such as myself into schools, teaching children the dangers of drugs, alcohol, tobacco, and violence. DARE can only be successful with the cooperation and dedication of teachers, you parents, and the children. This is my fourth year teaching the program, and I can tell you that it's so much more than its acronym. I've had the privilege of being with your kids every Monday for the past few months. We talk about things such as effective listening skills. However, I hope they do that more at home than in school. We talk about communication, peer pressure, handling stress, resistance strategies, and being a good citizen, bullying, just to name a few. Being familiar with these topics and skills are instrumental if we expect our kids to lead clean, safe, and responsible lives. DARE is a program that I deeply care about, one that I am proud to teach. Many people over the years have asked me, do you think it really makes a difference? I guess that depends on how you measure success. Do I think that every child that I've taught DARE to will stay away from drugs or alcohol? Absolutely not. But we as police officers have a tendency to measure crime and individual performance through statistics. How many more or less drunk driving arrests have we made? How many traffic stops are done in a problematic area? I think it would be counterproductive to measure statistics in their program, because one child's success in responsible decision-making does not define the program. When I first became a DARE officer, I had mentors and instructors I looked up to. One once told me, if you make an impact in just one child's life, if one kid stays away from drugs or doesn't get into a car with someone who's been drinking, or decides not to hang with the wrong crowd because of something they remembered from you, then you succeeded. That's how I'd like to define success in the years to come. We as parents, teachers, mentors, coaches, police officers must strive to teach them solid values, ethics, and to resist the negative pressures of today's society. They are, after all, this country's future. We as police officers handle problems and we resolve conflicts. I, as a supervisor, handle even more problems. We hold people accountable. We rarely get to see, however, the end product. Police officers handle one situation and it's off to the next one. We are, for the most part, a reactive arm of public service. DARE is different. It's a proactive approach to an ever-increasing problem. I'm sure you're all aware of the country's heroin epidemic. Officers in Rockingham County, as well as the rest of the state and country for that matter, are responding to overdoses on a weekly basis. I don't have the answers and I'm not sure anyone does. I do, however, believe that education is a key component. Programs like DARE are instrumental in teaching kids responsible decision-making, to have a voice to confront the problem, and have the tools to deal with it safely, so when those situations do arise, they are confident and resist those pressures. Being a DARE officer wasn't something I ever thought about becoming or wanted to become, for that matter. As with most things in police work, I was assigned to it. But it is something that I've grown to love. Kids may not encounter a police officer for years. Many law-abiding adults don't throughout the course of their lives. It is incumbent upon us as police officers to make the good impression that the public expects. Knowing that I have the opportunity to reach and impact each and every fifth grader in Atkinson before he or she moves on in their lives is a responsibility that I don't take lightly. It is, in fact, an honor. DARE gives me a brief chance to become a teacher, a mentor, and hopefully a friend to all of you. DARE also gives me a chance to listen. In class, we often discuss what's going on in their lives, things they're dealing with, problems they're having. One may say the problems of a fifth grader are trivial compared to what we have as adults. Part of that is true. However, how are they expected to make good decisions later if they don't have the tools to make the good decisions now? I don't always have the answers, but someone in the classroom always does, and that's what makes DARE great. No answer is wrong, no answer is right, but every time we have discussions, one idea may be exactly what someone else is looking for. Seeing all of you here before me is what makes it all worth it. It makes it all worth it because every year, every day, every lesson, working with all of you is always the most challenging, fun, and rewarding experience so far in my career. Police work is police work. It rarely changes. But every Monday when I get to come in and be a goofball and spend time with all of you is truly why I love being a cop. As much as I've learned from you, as much as I hope you've learned from me, I've learned even more from you. We as adults know the dangers of drugs and alcohol, and far too many times seen the consequences of poor decisions, as well as the devastating and inexcusable loss due to violence. It is crucial we educate our children to be the best citizens they can be, to be role models for others. As parents, friends, and family, teachers, police officers, the amount of influence we have on them is immeasurable. I congratulate you, the parents, for all the hard work you already do at home. I only ask that you continue to lead by example, be a role model to your children, and never lose sight of what's important. To the teachers, I thank you. The trust you have let me into your classrooms, to fit me into your busy schedules, to trust me with them, I thank you. I've personally seen the work you do in your classrooms, your dedication, your patience, and to be honest, I envy you. I can never be a full-time teacher. Being an educator is not easy. I had them for 45 minutes once a week for 10 weeks. I was like the grandparent who just give them back. To Principal Deotis, Atkinson Academy couldn't ask for a better leader. I thank you for the opportunity you so graciously afforded me time and time again. Your leadership, integrity, and forthright attitudes are skills every administrator should admire. Over the past few years, I've personally seen the great relationship between the school and the police department, which only gets stronger with time. Schools and police need to work hand in hand because the education and safety of our children are the most important responsibility we hold. Your support of the DARE program and the great partnership we share does not go unnoticed. This town and the district are very fortunate to have you. To my students, I first want to say that I'm sad our time is over. For one, I need to go back and actually do real police work on Mondays. But more importantly, and all joking aside, out of the 11 years I have in this job, the time I've spent as a DARE officer is by far the best time I've had as a cop. Each and every one of you at some time or another has made me smile and participated in ways that exceeded my expectations. For the past 10 weeks, Mondays were by far my most favorite day to go to work. Together we've done so much, and you've done so much. I'm looking forward to see all the outcome of your hard work in the years to come, wherever life may bring you. I ask that you always remember our lessons and everything we've talked about. All of your opinions, our discussions, our skits, and your participation is what made it all work. Although I'm still convinced the participation was just for the candy that I gave them. I want you all to know that I'll always be here if you ever want to talk, need advice, or simply want to say hi. I am a police officer, yes, but more importantly, I'm your DARE officer. And lastly, I challenge you and I dare you. I dare you to do the right thing. After summer, you go to middle school and then high school, and wherever you venture from there, whether it's college, the military, the workforce, things will get harder and more challenging. Life is challenging. Life is always challenging. I dare you to do the right thing and have a mind of your own, a voice of your own. Be your own person and stick up for yourself. And stick up for your classmates. Stick up for a stranger. I dare you to be a leader and not a follower. The world has too many followers and not enough good leaders. You've heard me say the right thing to do is oftentimes the hardest. Always walk with your head held high. Ever since I became a DARE officer, I've always told myself, as much as I like to think it will, DARE will not work for everybody. That is a truth, a fact. However, if just one of you stays away from drugs or alcohol because of what I've taught you, then I've succeeded. I thank you all for coming. At this time, I'd like to present the Chief of Police, Albert Brackett. My boss will be good.
Thank you, Sergeant Lyons. I'm not going to be as long as Sergeant Lyons was. I just wanted to take the time to recognize the people involved in this program. First of all, I'd like to thank the school district, the superintendent, Metzler, for his support, and more importantly, Kathy Diotis and the support that we get from the Atkinson Academy. Since I've been the chief here, I've been very impressed by the cooperation, the relationship we have when it comes to the children in our community. And I think that the partnership that we have, the police department has with the school is very important. And obviously from this program, this is a result of some of the things that happen. We've also been involved in other programs, active shooter programs in the school to keep our children safe. And I'm proud of that. I'm proud of Sergeant Lyons and his commitment not only to this program, but to the other programs that I've mentioned. He's very involved in the school. He's there all the time. In addition to his DARE class, the 5th grade class, he also takes time to spend time with the students on field trips, takes time to read to children in school. So he's a credit to the police department. And I think the school district is very fortunate to have him in the school. I'm going to disagree with Sergeant Lyons on one thing. He said he's going to go back to work on Monday and do real police work. I think what he's doing here at the school is real police work. I've been involved in law enforcement for over 40 years, a large portion of it being involved in drug enforcement. And I can tell you that from my perspective, this is one of the most important things that we do. Education to our young children on the dangers of drugs and how it can not only impact your life, but ruin your life. The next group that I'd like to mention, thank you. The next group I'd like to mention is the parents. Parents, friends, and family, very impressed to see all you here tonight to support your children. And it's obvious that what they've learned here in the 5th grade, that you're going to reinforce and make sure that that they carry out the lessons that they learned and resist drugs, not only now, but as they go on into junior high school, college, and their careers in life. The last group I'd like to mention is the 81 graduates tonight. You should all be very proud. Sergeant Lyons has told me about all your hard work and your study over the past year. You're graduating from the program. You need to know that the lessons that you learned here, as I said, you need to carry on throughout high school and throughout your life, because that's what will make you successful. So thank you and congratulations.
Every year, the DARE program kind of gets more and more sponsors, which is a great thing. When I first started, the police department had a budget line item for the DARE program. That was unfortunately scrapped the next year, so we had to rely on sponsors to get the things that we needed. As you see, all the kids have t-shirts. Freshwater Farms, every year that I've been a DARE officer, they graciously donate the cost of those t-shirts. Atkinson Graphics prints the back of them. What you see on the front is from DARE America. Everything that you see on the back of the shirt is donated through Atkinson Graphics. The Atkinson Lions Club also this year came on board and gave us a generous donation. That covers the stuff that I give the kids. Every week I give them something, pens, pencils, stickers, stuff like that. And this is the first year that I'm happy to say that it was totally funded by donations. So zero money was used from the tax portion of what we have for a budget. In the past, we've taken out of office supplies to get the kids pencils and stuff, but this was the first year that it was 100% through donations, so that's great. And Mr. and Mrs. Tom Cunningham, who are also Atkinson residents, they personally gave us a donation this year. So I'd like to ask them to come on stage for a quick appreciation. Mr. Cunningham accepted the one on behalf of the Lions Club, seeing as he's in the Lions Club. The two other sponsors, unfortunately, they couldn't make it tonight, but they'll get their certification later. But if you guys just keep that in mind, if you want flowers or whatever, go to Freshwater Farms. And again, the teachers are the ones that really make it happen. I went to DARE school for 2 weeks. They teach you how to talk to kids, they teach you how to teach, if you will. That was a 2-week crash course, and I still don't think I'm even a quarter of what they are. They go to school for years, they've been in the classrooms every single day. Days that sometimes I feel like pulling my hair out, they're there the next day and the next day and the next day. So if I could ask the 5th grade teachers to come on stage for a quick presentation. And to the principal of Atkinson Academy, Kathy Deotis, and Vice Principal Liff, I'd like to thank them for their hard work and support of the program. Like I said, Kathy Deotis is an all-star leader. She's very good with the police department. Anything I've ever wanted on a drop of a dime notice, she's there. So I just have a special something. All right, now, every year, the amount of classes in the 5th grade differ. Last year, I think I only had 3 classes. Next year, I'm only going to have 2. Every year, the kids are required, the only homework that they have to do for DARE is to write an essay. I don't ask for much. I ask for less than a page. I ask that it be legible. And essentially, I want to see what they've taken out of the DARE program. Years ago, the DARE program was just say no and just say no, if you remember. It's changed so much since then. And everybody knows that it's a lot easier to say no than actually doing it. So we teach the kids, one of the lessons is how to say no, using different strategies and skills. At the end of DARE, I ask everyone to write an essay based on what they've learned and how they think it'll impact them. I don't always look for the best winner, the best writer, if you will, but everything goes into account. Who participated, who had good thoughts, who brought something to the table when we had conversations. Unfortunately, I can only pick one from each class, but I'd like to ask them to come on the stage. They're going to read their essays for you. For Mrs. Riley's class, the winner was Brooke Mahoney. Mrs. Havitt's class was Amelia Steele. For Mrs. Haggerty's class, it was John O'Leary. And Mrs. Lazgowski's class was Darby Simmons.
What DARE Means to Me by Brooke Mahoney. When Miss Riley announced that we were going to be starting a new program called DARE, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know whether we were going to be learning about Officer Nate's job or how to respect our school. But we weren't learning about any of those things. In fact, we were learning about something even better. One lesson I liked was the resistance of drugs. We learned the difference between good and bad drugs. I especially loved learning about cigarettes because when I was younger, I always hated when people smoked around me. When they were smoking around me, I would yell, "Mom, that person's using a fire stick." Even though I don't say that anymore, it still bothers me. I know in the middle school, some kids get into drugs and even go in the woods and smoke. We learn the things that can happen to people who take drugs, and I know I don't want to have a wrinkled face or bad lungs when I'm only 30. Hands down, to me, the most important lesson was the 9 resistance strategies. They are ways to say no. Officer Nate told our class that saying the simple word no is one of the hardest things to say, and that's so true. The 9 resistance strategies are avoiding the situation, strength in numbers, walking away, cold shoulder, saying no, giving a reason or fact, changing the subject, repeated refusal, or just keep saying no. We also call it a repeating CD. Using humor, and it's always okay to tell a little white lie when it comes to safety. I like this lesson because I know we'll use these resistance strategies in the middle school for drugs, peer pressure, which we also learned about, and bullying. At the time of writing this essay, there was a little tension in our class because there was some bullying going on. I'm not going to name names, but I said to the kid that was getting bullied, "I'm really sorry that some people are just downright mean to you." He or she said, "Don't worry, I'm used to it." Those words were some of the saddest words I've ever heard. Officer Nate said that the bullying lesson was his favorite lesson, and I can see why. He mentioned a statement about, who do you think is stronger, the bully or the person getting bullied? And I never really thought about it that way. The answer to the question is obviously the person getting bullied. The only thing it takes to break down a bully is a little bit of confidence. But when that situation comes, that little bit doesn't seem so little. When the bully was hurting the person in our class, we all said to him or her, "Why would you do that? You're such a bully." After that, he or she basically broke down. It only took a little bit of confidence. What I found really interesting was that Officer Nate talked to our class about how to just tell an adult without tattling. He told us that when you tattle, you want to get a person in trouble. I do understand that this will happen even more in the middle school and high school, and the thought of there being any more pushing, shoving, and bullying just gives me a headache thinking about it. This was definitely an important lesson. This was an amazing program, and I wish we could have it again. I want to thank Officer Lyons because he made learning these really scary lessons really fun and easy. I promise Officer Lyons, my parents, and my friends that I will never take or touch any drug, and I will stand up for people and myself. I'm sad to leave Atkinson Academy, but I'm just as sad to leave DARE.
Hi, my name is Amelia Steele, and I'm in Miss Habib's 5th grade class, and I have taken an interesting 45-minute class on Mondays called DARE. I'm writing this essay to tell about the great experience I have had in DARE. Having DARE was really fun. We learned lots while having fun at the same time. My DARE teacher was Police Officer Sergeant Lyons. Sergeant Lyons was a really great teacher. Every DARE class, he would give everyone 2 pieces of candy, Starburst or Hershey Kisses, and a DARE prize, so DARE was always fun. Sometimes Officer Lyons would let us do DARE skits about what we had recently learned. Doing skits was one of my favorite things. In my opinion, everyone should take DARE because it's fun and it teaches you stuff. In DARE, we learned about the DARE decision-making model, also known as the DARE DMM. The DARE DMM stands for define. What is the problem, challenge, or opportunity? Assess. What are your choices? Respond. Make a choice. Use the facts and information you have gathered, and evaluate. Review your decision. Did you make a good choice? I soon realized that I had already used the DARE DMM, and I use it more and more since we learned about it. An example of how I used it is, one time I went to my sister's house and I got sick. I could go home or stay at her house. My choice was to stay, and when I evaluated, I thought my choice was good because I felt better in the morning, and I had a fun night even when I was sick. I can use the DARE DMM in the future when people offer me alcohol, when I'm under 21, or if people offer me drugs. What I learned in DARE is very important. In DARE, we learned about how taking tobacco can kill you, and about how too much alcohol slows down a person's heart and puts them in a coma or death, and ways to deal with bullying. In tobacco, there are more than 200 known chemicals and tar. These clog up and blacken the lungs, making it hard to breathe, and soon you can't breathe. Too much alcohol slows down your body and brain, causing slow reflexes, poor judgment, and some drunk people could get hit by cars or get into an accident. Finally, ways to deal with bullying. You can tell a trusted adult, tell the bully to stop, hang out with trusted people, or put a note on the teacher's desk. In conclusion, DARE has taught me a lot. It has taught me important life lessons and that learning can be fun. Using the DARE decision-making model, having a great teacher, and having lots of fun is what my DARE classes were like. Taking a 45-minute DARE class on Mondays has changed my life. Will it change yours? Has it changed yours? What comes to mind when someone says dare? How about dare to say no, or just say no? Did I read your mind? Probably. Well, if that's what you thought, that is what I thought coming into dare too. But I was wrong. Dare isn't just about saying no, it is about how to say no, or even why to say no. Let me tell you a little bit about what I have learned in dare. One way to resist a situation is just walking away. I did not think it could be easier than that. Sure, it may not work, but that is why DARE has taught us many more ways to get out of these situations. Walking away does make the kid a little ticked off if he's your friend. Yet again, DARE has taught us how to communicate with friends after an incident like that has happened, which leads up to our next thing, communication. Whether it is ignoring a friend or not standing up for your friend when he or she is getting bullied, DARE has taught us so much more communication skills than just talking. DARE has taught us that it is not necessarily what you say, it is how you say it. If you say something like a little mouse, is that going to help you at all? That is just like a little acorn and seeing how many times we can throw it until it cracks. We have a voice and we are getting older, and we are allowed to use this voice that we have contained in ourselves for these first 10 to 11 years. So if someone tries to bully you, use your voice and act confident about what you said. And even if it doesn't make sense, if you say it with enough confidence, you just might make it work. Bullying is probably the worst thing to happen to you in middle school and high school, but 6th grade is probably the worst. Because that gives kids a sense of who you are, and there are a lot more kids that you don't know in middle school. Getting bullied makes you so vulnerable to other kids, and then it does start to get into the physical realm where children are getting hurt or even killed. The communication lesson helped us with that, like if you were to say to the kid that is always picking on you, is there a reason why you are always picking on me? He never answers and walks away because there is no reason why he is picking on you. Or go pick on someone your own size. That makes them feel like a grain of sand at the beach. Also, we have been taught that if you are in a bad situation, you can do anything to defend yourself because there is nothing wrong with defending yourself. Yet if a kid pushes you into a locker, it does not mean you should break his neck. We are talking about when someone is punching you till you're unconscious or punching you to hurt you. Unless you're in the UFC or MMA, it is illegal to punch to hurt. That is when you can do anything to defend yourself. Another way to say no is to give a fact. Like if a friend that asks you if you want to smoke, say, I would rather not have lung cancer and black lungs by the age of 13. It may be offensive, but it does not matter as long as you get out of the situation unharmed. It is okay. You could always use humor. This is my favorite one because it gets you out of the situation and no one's feelings are hurt. On this one, it is a win-win for you and a win for them. No one can get emotionally hurt when trying to be funny. Now this one reminds me of a memory eraser, changing the subject. A kid at recess asks you if you want some booze, switch the subject and do a good conversation about last night's game for the NCAA final or the whole entire tournament. Now that is how you completely brainwash them. Lastly, yet still another way, is to repeat saying no. Even if someone says pretty please with the cherry on and fudge on top, keep saying no. The one thing is that you have to do to pull off this method is say it with a straight face and say it seriously, so they know that you mean business. If you laugh, they might not think you are serious. So this is the hardest one, I think, because if someone tells me to be serious, I laugh. Those are the ways and methods to say no and what DARE has taught the whole grade. Walking away, changing the subject, repeating no, and using humor. So next time your friends suggest you have a cigarette or suck down on a bottle of Grandpa's old cough medicine, you have so many reasons to say no to saying yes. You should do the sensible thing and dare to say no.
No, we use this word so often it begins to seem easy. Before I had dare classes, I thought it was too. I mean, sure, I easily say it to my brother and my sister, so why can't I easily say it to someone who tells me to shoplift? Or, come on, try one. Or, it's not like the police are here. Turns out saying no is a lot easier said than done. And I learned all that in only one 1-hour dare class. As dare continues, we learn possibilities of the future and how to stay away from any bad situations. To do this, you need to define the situation, assess the situation, respond to the situation, and evaluate your choice for the situation. Which brings us to the DARE decision-making model. You can use this in any bad situations. This can spell out the situation and have you calm down. It gives you a way when you can't say no. Because trust me, life is not a bowl of spinach. As I said earlier, DARE stands for many things. It can also mean Drug Abuse Resistance Education. Drugs are anything that affect the way your mind and body work. There are good ones like medicine and others not so much, like tobacco and in some cases alcohol. I hope you all enjoyed that nice cup of joe you had this morning that kept you awake at work. That's a drug too. Not by stunting your growth, like some people might say, but by making you less tired. This affects you for the better. DARE is all about being safe. If you drink too much alcohol, there's memory loss and possibly death. If you smoke tobacco, there's lung cancer. And if you chew tobacco, there's mouth cancer. Being in DARE has taught me to not go near a situation that might get me addicted, because there is a big chance you will. It has taught me to be responsible around alcohol and medicine drugs. Furthermore, to be smart and to think through these situations if I ever do get into one. I am being brought up by a very nice family. They help me continue to learn. So originally, I didn't really think DARE would help me at all. I looked forward to 5th grade and DARE only for the candy and skits. But as I continue through DARE, I realized that there are things that my parents couldn't teach me that Sergeant Lyons could. Being a police officer, he knows what goes on. He doesn't soften the truth. He tells us what might happen in the future. Let's just say he knows how to keep it real.
Let's talk about candy. If any of them have cavities and dentist bills, you can forward them to the academy. All right, at this time, we'd like to present the certificates to the 5th grade class. You want to come up by class?
First, Nora Berry. Jake Balicki. Cody Boucher. Brooke Bowles. Brooke Colleran. Dom Capetta. Chesco Cordio. Mackie Correa. Allison Daigle. Johnny Fabrizio. Brooke Mahoney. Colby Mason. Ella Murray. Cassidy Powers. Brandy Sickle. Rebecca Silva. Nate Sparrow. Thomas DeRosian. And Matt Williams. Thank you.
Emilia Hearn. Matthew Blackadar, Samantha Consalvo, Diego Desjardins, Caden Ferguson, Sean Finneran, Gabby Gonzalez, Charlotte Hosterman, Ty Karam, Mary Lamar, Holly Malkin, Spencer Moody, Miles Nyson, Mark Papalardo, Cole Priest, Aiden Restesso, Lydia Russo, Amelia Steele, Maggie Uliano, and Emily Watson.
Dante Auger, Kira Barker, Gavin Vilcliff, Shane Cunningham, Olivia DeLegge, Izzy DiNapoli, Evan Doherty, Lauren Jeanette, Jeffrey Giangaborio, Jacob Goodsell, Gabby Gray, Julia Johnston, TJ Labatt, Abby Lakin, Riley McGrath, John O'Leary, Ryan Palmer, Emma Richard, Dakota Ritter, Jacob Sharplin, also known as Sharpie, Miles Sherwood, and Gavin Taskin.
Okay, this is Mrs. Lozowski's class. Jack Abel, Jessica Adams, Madison Ashford, Trey Baker, Jacqueline Bordenaro, Jacob Cole, Jessica Dow, Haley Farrell, Grace Farrington, Megan Fetty, Rachel Hale, Lucas Merrill, Braden Paris, Bella Fair, Diego Robles, Darby Simmons, Sean Ward, and Peyton Wright.
Well, that concludes our ceremony. I'd like to make things short and sweet, get you all out of here. I do appreciate you all coming. The only thing I would ask is if anybody took pictures, if you were willing to share those pictures, hook up with me after the graduation. I'll give you the department's email address. I couldn't have somebody here to take pictures, but the department has a Facebook page, and I like to put pictures up there of what we're doing in the community. So if you did take some pictures, good pictures, and you want to share them so we can put them up, please see me. But I thank you all for coming, and congratulations to you guys.
Everybody to the Tom and his wife that sponsored us, along with Freshwater Farms, Atkinson Graphics, everybody, the Lions Club, and to Chief Brackett, because without him releasing Nate once a week, we wouldn't be able to have Dare. So congratulations. Also, we have a little something for you. Emily? It's a little bit more than a little something. It's in a big bag here, so.
Better be candy.
It better not be. Just a little token of our thanks to you. We still expect to see you around, you know. I just have one announcement before we dismiss everybody. There was a little bit of a conflict with the 8th grade graduation on Friday the 10th. So I have moved my graduation up to 10 o'clock. I hope it doesn't inconvenience anybody, but it'll also give a chance for all the 8th grade parents to be able to attend their ceremony for their son or daughter at the middle school. They're going to start theirs around 8 o'clock, 8:15. So Mike Hogan has promised me that you will be out in plenty of time to come over and enjoy our celebration at 10 o'clock. So I've just moved it a little bit. The kids will still have a fun day. We have a lot of things planned, and I know the parents have things planned. So I hope it doesn't inconvenience anybody, but we have to give and take a little bit. So enjoy the rest of the night, and thank you very, very much for sharing your children with us during the day of program.